Stay tuned, folks. We've got a great comparison video for you this week. A 2023 Honda SUV versus a 1958 Ford truck. Yeah, that comparison makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? We thrive to please here. We've been driving and testing a lot of expensive and practical vehicles lately, like this Ford Raptor Type R, 700 horsepower, 10 miles to the gallon, $100,000 price tag. Wow. For this 100 grand AMG Mercedes GL353, Cadillac XT6, gas guzzling Challenger with a big V8. So I think my next vehicle is going to be something a bit more practical, something regular people can afford, something that's not going to eat you alive with high gas bills, and be reliable. And I think this Honda HR-V might be a good pick. Says we have a starting price of $24,000. Anyone can afford that. So let's put our order in and see what happens. Alright, got the paperwork. Let's take a closer look. This is the all-wheel drive EXL. This is the most expensive one in the lineup. Supposedly, everything is standard. Leather seats, stereo. There are no options. But you know they're going to add something. They always do. Yep, $395 for their Nordic Forest paint job. And there's a total tab. Bit of a jump from the base price. We're getting a lot of vehicle here. In fact, I'll just go down the standard equipment list if you want to do a quick peek. Ooh, leather trim, of course. But wait, there's more. Moonroof, naturally. And where is it made? Mexico! Ay, ay, ay. Aguilado. By the way, it wasn't too long ago we tested the Honda CR-V Hybrid. If you want to see that video, we'll have a link for this at the end of this video. Just go to the end, click and watch. We also tested the Kia Sportage Hybrid. We'll have a link for that video at the end of this video as well. So you get 3 videos for the price of 1, free. So at our garage test facility, let's open the door and roll this baby out. So here it is, live and in person. This is a nice looking paint job, but I'm not really sure what they justify the extra $400 for. Well, the fact they can ask for it and get it, I guess. 3 things we do when we get a vehicle. Number 1, we check for the brand of tires that's on the vehicle, because a lot of manufacturers are putting cheap off-brand tires, and that's not good. They're doing it to save money. These are Hanooks. Not the best brand around, but they'll do. Next thing we want to do is check and see if there's a spare tire. A lot of times there is not. Yes, there is. Some extra spare room down there too, if you want to hide something. And we also want to take the headlights out in the dark and see how they perform. See, we have 3 bulb assemblies here. We already did a night drive and headlight video and posted it on YouTube. If you didn't see that, no problem. I'll have it on part 3 of this video. I did notice while this is supposed to be a type of green paint, it looks blue to me, but maybe it's just the angle of the sun or time of day. It's also slightly metallic. Now you may have read somewhere that this vehicle uses the same engines as the Honda Civic sedan. Well, kind of yes and no. In the Civic you have 3 engine choices. A base 2-liter putting out 158 horsepower. You move up to 1.5 turbo putting out 180 horsepower and better fuel economy. And then the 315 horsepower turbo. Unfortunately in this you only get the base 2-liter 158 horsepower engine. The other 2 can't have them in the HR-V. Now in the Honda Civic, this engine gets 31 mpg in the city, 40 on the highway, with 35 average overall. On the HR-V SUV, it drops to 26 mpg in the city and 32 on the highway. And there are several reasons for that. Number 1 is weight. Being an SUV, this is around 450 pounds heavier than a Honda Civic sedan. And because of its boxy shape, you're pushing more air, which causes a lot of friction. And you have higher ground clearance underneath it, which causes more friction. In this case, we add all-wheel drive for 4-wheel traction, and that drops the mpg even more, from 26 to 32 to 25 to 30. So bottom line, as far as fuel economy goes, if you go from the Honda Civic sedan to this HRV SUV, your MPG will drop from 35 average to 27 average. Claimed numbers, that is. We'll be taking this out in the real world to see what the real numbers are. Of course, the advantage with this SUV, you have a lot more room to carry stuff than you do in a Honda sedan, which is the whole point of getting an SUV in the first place. Plus, with the higher ground clearance, you can take it off-roading lightly, or if you car, you can't at all. Since we're talking about fuel economy, let's look at some real numbers. I've driven 100 miles in this vehicle yesterday in mixed commuting. Pretty hot outside, stop and go traffic, 23.3 mpg. And let's look at some numbers here. 1,500 miles, 27 mpg. 1,700 miles at 27 mpg. 44 miles at 23.5 mpg. And 1,200 miles at 25.4 mpg. From previous drivers, I don't have time to drive that much. Pardon the glare, but it's that time of day. This is shiny plastic, so this is the best I can do at the moment. And since we're here, let's look at the controls. The climate controls, very simple to use. Just a few knobs and buttons. A little aggravation I noticed when I'm driving a lot. I sometimes, instead of putting it in drive, I'm not paying attention, it goes down in S and L. Now if you had a push button shifter like we do in other Hondas, this wouldn't be an issue, because you cannot mess up a push button shifter like you can this. Plus a push button shifter doesn't take up any room. This takes up too much room, gets in the way when you're trying to reach for stuff. So I say, Honda, get rid of all these stick shifts, period, and go to push button on all your vehicles, please. Totally superior to a stick. Cannot be disputed. A drive mode switch for normal, economy, and snow. And being 91 degrees in the morning, it'll be 114 in the afternoon. I don't think we'll see any snow today. And after years of complaining, we finally get a volume knob for the radio. Thank you, Honda. We don't get a tuning knob, though. You have to press the button here, but 1 out of 2. The sun visor slide back and forth to keep the sun's rays out on side windows. Some vehicles, you can't do this, amazingly. And here's what the camera looks like when you put the transmission in reverse. Not the biggest screen on the planet, but big enough. How big do you want, right? One thing I've noticed, you cannot turn the headlights off. It always pops back to automatic or manual being on. That's why they do it in Canada. You can't turn your headlights off way up there, so maybe they just figure one system for all. The glove box is a decent size. Alright, part 1 of this video, show and tell, is over. Let's do some driving, starting with the power steering system, which has excellent feel. It feels hydraulic, although naturally I'm pretty sure it's electric. Decent feel and feedback, good response. Now remember, this is an all-wheel drive vehicle. I don't know if the steering's the same in the 2-wheel drive. I suspect there's not that much difference. As we do in all our videos, we're going to take some mild speed humps at 15 miles per hour. See how the suspension performs on impact. Here comes bump number 1. Pretty smooth for a short wheelbase vehicle. Here comes number 2. And the big nasty one. Yeah, felt it, but nothing serious. One thing I noticed about this vehicle, it is not quick. In fact, it's quite slow. Also, being a CVT transmission and all-wheel drive doesn't help. But it's able and willing. There's that CVT drone. Adequate power, but you're not going to win any drag races with this Mustang in front of us. Nice brakes, by the way. If you're in the habit of getting on the freeway all the time and you have a full load of 4 people and lots of gear, you might want to plan your entrance carefully, because we don't have much power here. Otherwise, no issues. Especially today, because it's only me driving. This is a very pleasant highway cruiser once you get on the move. It's very quiet. The ride is very smooth. Actually, a lot more than the Honda Civic sedan. Plus, you have room for all this gear, so it's going to be great if you take lots of long trips. We're going to take a short highway trip, see if we can break the 30 miles to the gallon barrier. I'm hoping to see 32 mpg, but we'll see. I'm not going to be cheating, driving under the speed limit and driving a light on the throttle. I'm just going to drive normally. If I have to pass, I have to pass. No cheating here. Of course, with this slightly underpowered motor, I don't think we're going to be doing much passing on this road today. No, probably not a good idea. People in the other lane might not like that. Alright, we're in the passing lane. Go, baby, go. Let's do it. Let's get some power here. There we go. By the way, all our driving is being done in the normal mode, not the eco mode. I don't use the eco mode. Alright, 57-mile trip. We're looking for 30 miles to the gallon at least, and we almost made it, 29.7. Pretty decent either way. So what's my take on this Honda after a week of driving? I have no serious complaints. In fact, I'm very impressed. A nice daily commuter. Easy to get in, easy to get out, lots of room, decent economy. As far as the price, you don't have to get a fully loaded 30 grand. Get rid of the all-wheel drive and the leather trim. Get one for around 26 bills. You're good to go. Plus, it's a Honda, it's reliable. And if you did not see the Headlight video on night drive we did on YouTube, we'll do that right now, part 3. Alright, starting off, let's take these headlights out and see what they do. And we have 3 bulb assemblies, but the one in the middle is not on. We have low beams on, that is. And we turn the brights on, all 3 compartments light up. And here's what the taillights look like, long and skinny. I see the emergency lights are separate from the assembly. Have some on the mirror as well. Pretty bright. But much better with the headlights off. Yeah, very small but very bright. Put the transmission in reverse, and this is what we get. Pretty simple interior, not too much to light up. And here we have the low beam headlights on the wall 33 yards away. Reasonably bright. Not that high, but they raise above the bushes, so that's okay. High beam. Looks pretty decent. Now the long distance test. High beam. Low beam. Reaches out. If you watch my videos, there's nothing I hate more than auto-dimming mirrors, because I don't want to drive in city traffic with blacked out mirrors, but I'll give my pass if they have a disconnect switch, and we have a disconnect switch, so I'm happy. Alright, let's take some freeway signs. High beam. Oh, go way down there, don't they? These do reach out. And now for the dark, dingy street test. I don't see any issues with these lights. They're pretty decent. Overall, I'm pleased. I don't see any complaints.